Hey, Raiders fans. Today we are diving into some of the most intriguing trade chatter surrounding our team, the Las Vegas Raiders. The atmosphere around the silver and black has been buzzing recently, and if you've been following the latest reports, it is clear that this season's moves could be more dynamic than many expected. Even though the Raiders are sitting with a record of 2-6, which usually signals a team looking to offload pieces, there's a very real possibility that instead of selling, the organization could be leaning towards strategic acquisitions. The front office and coaching staff seem to be weighing options carefully, and the reports hint at some clever maneuvering behind the scenes that could reshape the roster before the trade deadline. When considering trades, particularly involving edge rushers, it is impossible to ignore the ripple effect of what happened with Jalen Phillips. His deal has set a precedent, and naturally, attention shifts to a Raiders player who might be in a similar situation. This is what makes the current trade talk so captivating, because if Phillips commanded a certain value, could the Raiders leverage a comparable opportunity with someone from our roster? The speculation alone is enough to get the Raider Nation excited. Looking at the defensive side, one player whose name has surfaced repeatedly is Malcolm Cowan, brought back this offseason on a one-year deal. His performance has been limited due to an ACL injury that clearly impacted his explosiveness. While he may not have dominated the field this season, the fact that he is in the final year of his contract makes him a potential trade candidate. If the Raiders decide not to bring him back next year, moving him now for draft capital could make sense strategically. Observing the way teams are evaluating edge rushers, there is no doubt that a team interested in adding depth would see value in someone like Cowan, especially if a deal can be structured to mitigate financial risk. Evaluating his worth in a trade, a third-day pick might be a realistic expectation, providing the Raiders some flexibility while also allowing Malcolm to explore opportunities elsewhere. This kind of decision-making is indicative of how the Raiders could play the chess game of the NFL, thinking several moves ahead to strengthen the team in the long term. Alongside the discussions around Cowan, Jackson Powers-Johnson has also been generating interest. As a center with growing frustration over his role, multiple teams have reportedly reached out, but the coaching staff remains cautious about moving him. JPJ's situation highlights a broader theme for the Raiders this season: managing player expectations while balancing team needs. His desire to play center clashes with the current coaching strategy, creating tension that could either lead to a trade or reinforce his role, depending on how discussions evolve. The Raiders are clearly trying to maximize value without weakening the core lineup, and any decision regarding JPJ will reflect a careful evaluation of potential trade returns versus team chemistry and continuity. Wide receiver Jacoby Myers is another player catching attention in trade rumors. Although there is external interest, the asking price appears to be a sticking point. The team seems reluctant to part with him unless an offer reaches the level of a day 2 pick. This decision underscores the importance the Raiders place on maintaining talent that directly supports their quarterback and offensive schemes. The calculus of trading versus retaining key players like Myers is complicated by both internal needs and market demand, highlighting how nuanced front office decisions have become. At the same time, certain players remain untouchable. Max Crosby, Michael Mayer, and Eric Stokes are reportedly not on the trade block. Crosby, in particular, has made it clear he wants to finish his career in Las Vegas, and his value is such that no reasonable offer would tempt the team to let him go. Mayer, despite external interest, is protected by the Raiders' intent to preserve depth and skill at the tight end position. Eric Stokes, despite nearing free agency, is viewed as a long-term asset that could command a significant contract extension. The Raiders are clearly prioritizing stability and retaining foundational pieces even while exploring potential moves elsewhere. Beyond individual players, the overarching narrative this season is one of cautious yet calculated action. While the team may not be contending for a championship at the moment, the way the organization navigates trades, injuries, and role conflicts demonstrates an eye toward future competitiveness. It is not just about this season. It is about positioning the Raiders to be in a stronger place next season and beyond. The trade deadline presents a window to acquire draft capital or move players strategically, and the front office seems prepared to make bold, deliberate choices rather than reactive decisions. The discussion about trades is not only about improving the roster, but also about signaling to players, fans, and rival teams that the Raiders are thinking ahead. Every call, report, and negotiation is part of a broader strategy to maintain flexibility and seize opportunities that may arise unexpectedly. In terms of the broader league context, the Raiders are competing in a dynamic environment where teams like the Philadelphia Eagles, Miami Dolphins, Tennessee Titans, and others are actively reshaping their rosters. Observing how those organizations leverage trades, draft picks, and free agent signings provides insight into how the Raiders might approach their own opportunities. The comparison is natural when considering edge rushers, interior linemen, and skill position players whose movement could shift competitive balance. For example, seeing how the Eagles handled Jalen Phillips sets a tangible benchmark for what could be possible with players like Malcolm Cowan or even Jacoby Myers. As fans, it is fascinating to witness these developments because each potential transaction carries ripple effects not just for the Raiders, but for multiple teams across the league. The level of analysis required to interpret trade value, team needs, and player contracts is immense, and it is part of what makes following the NFL so compelling. Raider Nation is watching closely because every deal has the potential to significantly impact not just wins and losses, but the trajectory of careers and the long-term identity of the team. When considering all of these factors together, the trade potential for edge rushers, the value of interior linemen like JPJ, the retention strategy for core talents, and the pursuit of draft capital, it becomes clear that the Raiders are navigating a complex, high-stakes environment. The front office is balancing immediate performance with future flexibility, player satisfaction with organizational goals, and market realities with internal assessments. This is a chess game where every piece, from defensive ends to wide receivers, has potential significance, and the outcome often of strategic foresight and careful calculation that makes the current trade discussion so compelling. Whether it involves a potential deal for Malcolm Cowan, a negotiation over Jacoby Myers, or the decision to protect players like Max Crosby and Michael Mayer, every scenario reflects the complexity of NFL roster management. The Raiders are not simply reacting. They're orchestrating moves that could have long-term implications, and understanding the thought process behind these choices gives us insight into the inner workings of a team that values both competitiveness and continuity. Staying informed about these developments allows fans to engage with the team on a deeper level, anticipating the impact of each move, discussing potential trade values, and imagining how the roster could look post-deadline. The excitement of the trade period, combined with the uncertainty of who will stay, who will go, and how draft capital will be utilized, makes following the Raiders this season a uniquely engaging experience. Every report, every rumor, and every analysis becomes part of the broader narrative that defines Raider Nation's understanding of the team's present and future. This is the environment we are in as we follow the silver and black, watching as opportunities arise and decisions are made that could shape not only this season, but the next several years of Raiders football. The complexity, the speculation, and the strategic depth all come together to create a story that is just as compelling as the action on the field, keeping fans invested, excited, and ready to see what the front office does next. The anticipation of trade moves, the evaluation of player potential, and the weighing of financial and strategic considerations make this period one of the most fascinating in the NFL calendar, especially for a team like the Las Vegas Raiders that is balancing rebuilding with competitiveness. Every week brings new insights, new rumors, and new possibilities, making it essential for Raider fans to stay informed and engaged as the narrative unfolds and the trade deadline approaches. Las Vegas Raiders. It is clear that the trade deadline is shaping up to be a critical period for the organization. One of the most fascinating aspects of this season is how the team is evaluating its roster and weighing potential trades, acquisitions, and retention strategies. The discussion around Malcolm Cowan, Jackson Powers-Johnson, and Jacoby Myers underscores the level of scrutiny each player is under and how their performance, contract status, and potential value factor into decision-making. Cowan, for example, has had a challenging season recovering from an ACL injury, and while his impact on the field has been limited, his contract situation makes him a prime candidate for trade consideration. Teams in need of an experienced edge rusher might see value in him, especially if the Raiders structure a deal that mitigates financial risk while providing draft compensation. The key for the Raiders is finding the balance between moving a player who might not return next season and securing assets that can contribute to long-term success. When looking at JPJ, the situation becomes even more complex. As a talented center frustrated with his current role, multiple teams have expressed interest, but the coaching staff appears hesitant to part ways. JPJ represents a classic dilemma. He has the potential to be a key contributor, yet his desire for a starting position and the team's assessment of his fit create tension. Navigating this scenario requires a careful evaluation of what is gained versus what is lost in a trade, factoring in team chemistry, depth, and the potential for enhancing draft capital. Jacoby Myers presents another interesting case. The Raiders have reportedly fielded offers for him, yet the asking price, typically a day 2 pick, reflects how highly the team values his contribution to the offense. Retaining Myers is important not just for his own performance, but also for the development and effectiveness of the quarterback and the overall offensive unit. This demonstrates that trade decisions are not solely based on individual performance, but also on the broader context of team structure and strategy. Looking beyond potential trades, the Raiders have identified certain players as untouchable. Max Crosby's value as a defensive cornerstone and his desire to finish his career in Las Vegas make any potential trade unlikely. Michael Myers' retention further illustrates the team's commitment to maintaining depth and skill at key positions. Eric Stokes, despite nearing free agency, is seen as a long-term asset worthy of a contract extension rather than a trade. These decisions reflect a thoughtful approach to roster management, balancing immediate needs with long-term goals and maintaining continuity within the team's core group. The broader landscape of the NFL also impacts the Raiders' approach. Observing moves by teams like the Philadelphia Eagles, Miami Dolphins, and Tennessee Titans offers insight into how trades and acquisitions can influence competitive balance. The way these teams manage edge rushers, interior linemen, and skill position players provides a framework for understanding the potential options the Raiders might explore. The ripple effects of high-profile trades, such as Jalen Phillips' move to Philadelphia, set benchmarks that influence how the silver and black consider their own players. In addition to strategic trades, there's a focus on the upcoming draft and the value of accumulating picks. Acquiring draft capital through trades allows the Raiders to maintain flexibility and build for the future while managing current roster needs. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on our Las Vegas Raiders. And don't be shy. Drop your thoughts on the news in the comments below. Whispers have been circulating across the NFL landscape, and now, according to insiders, the Oakland Raiders are making a move that could reshape their offensive identity for years to come. Sources close to the team suggest that Chip Kelly, the architect of some of the most electrifying offenses in recent memory, has quietly taken over the Raiders' playbook. The news has sent shockwaves through fans and analysts alike, igniting speculation about how this marriage of talent and innovation could redefine the silver and black. Kelly, known for his fast-paced, no-huddle schemes that transformed college football at Oregon and left marks in the NFL with the Eagles and 49ers, appears poised to inject a frenetic energy into a team that has long struggled with consistency on offense. Rumors hint that his influence goes beyond mere play calling. Sources suggest he is reworking the entire offensive structure, emphasizing tempo, misdirection, and a level of unpredictability that could leave opposing defenses scrambling. The timing of Kelly's arrival is fueling even more chatter, with the Raiders reportedly targeting younger, versatile skill players and a quarterback who thrives in spread concepts. Insiders speculate that this could be a strategic alignment years in the making. The league has seen the success of rapid-fire offenses before, but few coaches have combined strategic nuance with sheer pace the way Kelly has. Could this be the start of a new identity for a franchise long searching for one? Fans in Las Vegas are buzzing. Social media is alight with theories, and rival teams are quietly taking notes. Some skeptics wonder if Kelly's past NFL experiments might signal caution, but others are intrigued by the sheer audacity of the move. Sources suggest that training camp will showcase dramatic shifts, with practices designed to mirror the relentless rhythm of his system. Quick reads, rapid substitutions, and an emphasis on conditioning that could leave opponents gasping. While the Raiders have yet to confirm the whispers officially, the atmosphere around the team feels electric. One thing is clear. If Chip Kelly truly is at the helm of the offensive playbook, the Raiders are not just changing plays, they are changing the conversation. The NFL, always hungry for the next innovation, may soon be forced to catch up to a team moving faster than anyone expected. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Las Vegas Raiders, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.